What is going on, guys? So on today's episode, we have a video here from the After Pill. Let's jump right into it.
Men are relaxing and exiling themselves out of society and just watching it collapse. And it's going to get worse, much worse, as the years go by. If you pay attention to the news, if you pay attention to the media, many men are not in the workforce. Many men are not getting married. Many men are not approaching women. Many men are just saying, to hell with it. They're not putting up a fight. They're not fighting back. Many men just, quite frankly, don't care.
Yeah, see, my question here is, why should the men, participate in a society that does not care about them? If you have a society that treats men like crap, that tells them that masculinity is bad, that men are evil, that bears are more safe than men to be around, why on earth should a man fight your wars? Why should he work your jobs? And why should he pay your taxes? And why should he get married to your women? You know, guys, there's this big discussion of like, why won't men do things for me? Why exactly is it that I'm being left out high and dry? But the answer is that men actually don't have a reason to help people, guys. You know, I watched a movie the other day. I don't really watch a whole lot of movies, but I watched one of the new Guardians of the Galaxy movies, guys, right? And I regret watching it. A lot of these new age movies, I totally regret watching. And I thought back to myself that evening after I'd watched the movie, was there a single competent male character in the entire damn thing? And the answer, guys, was no. The only competent male figure in that entire movie that wasn't made to look like a complete idiot was the raccoon character that spent half of the time deceased. Every other male character was made to look like an idiot. They were made to look incompetent. They were made to look like the women counterparts were just far superior than them. And to be honest, it was embarrassing, guys. This is what is being taught in modern day society. Modern men, bad. Masculinity, bad. We don't need no man. So when all of the dudes walk away, it makes perfect sense to me.
And it's bad. That's bad. Well, it's bad for society. And it's definitely bad for the American society. Right? If you have a bunch of men who are not working, who's going to carry on the infrastructure of society? Who's going to fight the wars of society? Right? Who's going to pick the women up when they fall down in society? Right? And it seems like society wants men to do every single thing with no return on investment at all. Everything is equal, right? Men and women are equal, right? But why isn't the courts reflecting that?
Yeah, I see a lot of this talk about how all of these people are out here advocating for equality, but they don't really care about equality, right? Jordan Peterson spoke about this famously a while ago. This is what most people kind of recognize when they hear these sorts of words, is that we hear all about equality, but I don't see any push for equality in bricklayers. You don't see a push for equality in carpenters, in electricians, you know, in builders of any sort of capacity. I mean, plumbers, truck drivers, people who maintain, people who build infrastructure, people who do the really critical jobs in society. I'm not talking about the people who have gender studies degrees, who work in HR, okay? They don't care about these people. They don't care about women entering these particular things, because what they want the higher class jobs, right? And it's funny to me, society will look down on men who perform these jobs, but these men are the ones who quite literally keep society functioning, right? These are the dudes, you know, if you have a pipe that bursts, you call a plumber who's probably going to be a dude. Okay, to me, guys, these are the most respectable positions that you can possibly have, because they are the ones that actually require genuine, difficult effort. And oftentimes, they're not as easy as people like to think. Like, oh yeah, you're just fixing something. I'd like to see these modern women fix something. you know? And guys, there's a lot of things that I can't fix, but that doesn't mean that I don't respect the people who can. You see what I'm saying?
Why isn't the courts reflecting that? Why isn't the military reflecting that? Why isn't the child custody courts reflecting that?
Didn't they have to drop the military standards because women were complaining that they were too high? Someone tell me if I'm wrong on that, guys, but as far as I understand, the standards for these sorts of things were dropped just so that women could try and enter these things. And still a lot of women don't want to enter these fields, obviously. You know, women and combat, that's arguably a very ethically questionable thing to be doing, to be honest, to be putting women in combat positions. But hey, guys, all about that equality, right? We care so much about women that we can let them join the armed forces. Sure.
Why are all the hard jobs, the infrastructure jobs, the construction workers, the builders, the engineers, the plumbers, electricians, you know, the men who get shitted on in society, why is that still the majority men? Anybody answer me that? It's not discrimination. It's not because they say women can't do it. It's not because of any of that. It's because women simply don't want to do it, and quite frankly, can't do a lot of that hard, you know, laborious work. They can't do it.
I totally agree with this, man. All of these sorts of endeavors that lie within the physical realm, shall we say, right? All of these physical jobs, these combat jobs and things like this, you know, police. I'll put it to you this way, guys. If you have a female police force, I don't trust in their ability as much as I do a male police force if you're trying to restrain somebody, for example. I just don't trust in your capability. And that's not because, oh, you dislike women. That's not because you think that, you know, you've got any sort of prejudices against them. It's just like, hey, maybe let's acknowledge some reality here for a second. That on average, men are taller, men are stronger, men have faster reaction times, things like this. Maybe it's not a good idea to try and get a 5'7" woman to be out here restraining men who are over 6 feet. I don't know. Bit of a wild idea to throw out there. Okay? Hell, even with sports, there is a reason why sports are divided up by gender. Now, hey guys, if you want to remove these gender barricades, if you want to say that women can compete with the men and the men can compete with the women, you might as well say goodbye to the women's segments. You might as well kiss all of those women that have to work so damn hard, right, to become the best at their sport or the best at their whatever it is that they're doing, and you now want to let men compete against them. You're just drowning away their achievements. The men are going to win. I don't care what you say. I don't even, you know, all of these people that have quote unquote transitioned, they're still going to win. Didn't that happen in the Olympics with the boxing? No, the boxing was something like she had a male gene or some crap like that. But I think there was like weightlifting in Canada as well. All the women's weightlifting records got smashed. Correct me if I'm wrong. When they allowed men who transitioned to women, still not a real woman, obviously, compete. All of this stuff just flew out the window. All of women's hard work just flew out the window because they decided that men and women were the same.
But they want to tell us we're the problem in society. Men are so dangerous, right? They'd rather choose the bear. They'd rather choose the bear than the man. Men are such a detriment to society, not contributing, not doing anything, right? Well, now, women and society are going to get what they wished for. They're going to get what their worst fears are, especially in a country like America. So you just have men, they're working, they're minding their business. They're not trying to bother anybody. They're not trying to be bothered with women at all, long-term relationships at least. Right? And that's a problem. Who's going to feed the system?
Yeah, see, this isn't a problem for men. That's really what the crux of the issue is as well, right? Is because men are actually safer by doing this stuff. You know, they don't approach women. You know what that means for men? You don't get falsely accused of crap, or at least it's far less likely. Okay? You don't get married. You don't have to worry about divorce. You don't have children with a woman. You don't have to feel worried about her stealing them, right? The reason why men do this stuff is because it's self-preservation. You see? It's like, oh, well, this is bad for society. You know what? It's actually a healthy decision for the men at the end of the day. society has set it up in such a way that these sorts of interactions and these sorts of decisions are just very unsafe for men. They get completely screwed over, right? If you want to take a guy who's approaching women left, right, and center, I mean, it's going to be pretty clear to me that when the guy comes back and he's got a restraining order or some woman's accused him of something or whatever the case may be, I'm not going to sit there and be shocked about it. You know, I don't think most men are going to be shocked about it. You approach a bunch of women, even if you're nice and you're trying to make something happen, you're looking for a date. I mean, don't get surprised when some woman accuses you of doing something in the gym with her that you didn't do. You know, you talk to women at the gym, all of a sudden you'll become the creepy guy or the guy that did something wrong. Guys don't want this. They just want to be left the hell alone. You see what I'm saying? They don't want these issues that are life ruining when they could just avoid them.
If this path continues, who's going to feed the system? The system is bound to collapse because why? Women cannot hold this system together by themselves. We understand that. Men have always understood that. But now men just don't give a fuck. Men do not care anymore. And I understand, you know, I advocate for men to be the best man you can and, you know, go out and make as much money as you can, get in the best shape of your life. And you have men out there who's doing it. But they're getting in shape, getting that money, and they're getting the hell up out of here. That's what's going on.
Yeah, all of these successful guys, the men that put in effort, they either leave the country, they just straight up leave Western countries, they go traveling, or they just completely check off of long-term relationships a lot of the time. Okay, and people will be like, oh, that's so awful, that's so mean. You've got to understand, guys, these successful dudes who've been working their entire life, they have a lot to lose, man. You know, or hell, even the guys who perhaps are younger, they put in the work, they're starting to make good money. They don't want to lose that by interacting with a woman from the West. They don't want to do that. And to be honest, yeah, you know, you can make the argument, you can sit there and say, well, that's sad, and that's a pretty sucky thing. Marriage as an institution is completely collapsing. But at the end of the day, the institution as it currently stands is designed to scam men. It's designed to steal from men. It's designed to take their kids from them. I mean, and I personally, guys, I have a really hard time blaming dudes for not wanting to get married, for example. I certainly on this channel, I think marriage is a terrible idea. I don't care if you have a prenup. Those things get thrown out all of the damn time. And we want to sit here as a society and say, well, why are men checking out? I think the answers to that question are pretty damn obvious, but some people just don't understand why dudes are dipping out.
So you have a group of men who are just, you know, you have the group of men who are lazy, who just like, fuck society, man. I can't get a woman. They want Chads, they want Tyrones. You know, I'm not about to marry, you know, the leftovers. So you have those men who just like, man, there's no sense of what am I working for?
See, I always think that dudes should just work for themselves, to be honest with you. I know it sounds cringe and people think that sounds stupid, guys, but I think that, you know, you should be in the gym, if anything, so that you feel better. You know what I'm saying? It's really good for mental clarity. It makes you feel like, you know, you're doing something productive, you're progressing. And I think that's really important for men, right? To have the feeling of, yes, I'm doing something, I'm improving my body, I'm getting a little bit better every single day at some particular task or some particular thing, right? I think that has really good mental health benefits for dudes, okay? If you're a man and you grow up in today's society, guys, and you listen to the brainwashing and you go through all of this, you know, the public schooling system, all of this nonsense, maybe your family's broken up or something like this, chances are you're going to get to the end of that and you're not going to be feeling particularly great. And guess what? Nobody cares. One of the solutions to that, I would say, guys, is make some friends, get in the gym. Don't do that for women, but do that for yourself, honestly. Make some money for yourself so you can leave the country or you can live where you want to live, right? I think men should really care about themselves. Look, people don't have to listen to what I say on this channel. I don't particularly care if people listen or they don't. But me personally, guys, I think that men should really care about themselves at the end of the day. I see so many dudes who just don't give a damn about themselves, who just want to sit there and do nothing. And that's your decision to make, but I don't think you're going to feel particularly well if you do that.
Am I working towards? Just to pay into a system that doesn't appreciate me, that just says, you know, I'm nothing. who incentivize women to do whatever the hell they want to? Nah. So you have those group of men who just said, fuck it. Fuck it. And then you have another group of men who, like I just said, who are hitting the gym, getting into the best shape of their life, who's eating healthy, getting their mental health good, getting their physical health good, getting their emotional health good, getting their spiritual health good, getting their financial health good. You have those men over there who's getting all their ducks lined in a row. And as soon as they make enough money, as soon as they hit that sweet spot, they're on the first thing smoking to the Philippines. They're on the first thing smoking to Dominican Republic. They're on the first thing smoking to Puerto Rico. They're on the first thing smoking to Colombia. Right? Men are done. And then when it comes to politics, the left nor the right is really addressing men's issues. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about the high suicide rates. Nobody's really talking about men leaving the country and going to live simple lives somewhere else in another country. Right? Nobody's talking about MGTOW. Nobody's talking about any of this stuff. Neither the left nor the right. Politics in this country is a joke, and nobody's addressing the real problems in society. And men are picking up on that. Young men especially are picking up on that, and they're just saying, to hell with all this shit, to hell with the system, to hell with the political system, to hell with the 9-to-5 system, to hell with all this. I'll work my job, get as much money as I can. As soon as I get my money, I'm out of this bitch.
Have you guys noticed that some of my videos have gone missing over here on YouTube? That is because I am slowly moving them over to locals where I can actually host them without the risk of getting in trouble. If you are not aware, many creators are starting to move over to places like locals, Rumble, etc. because YouTube is not really a free speech platform. So if you are interested in supporting the channel and getting access to videos that are no longer available here, make sure that you come and join us over on locals. The link will be in the video description down below. Supporters get access to their own exclusive videos that are no longer available to the public. So make sure you go to the link in the description and join us over there now. But anyway, guys, back to today's episode. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty accurate, right? They make their money, they hit the gym, and then they leave the country. Because why would a man care if it all burns to the ground at the end of the day? I know that sounds a bit dramatic, guys, but really, men are not given a reason to care about things like these particular issues. They're not given a reason to care about the particular society when the society treats them like crap. And the reason why society doesn't address these things is because they don't care, man. They really don't. I've said this on this channel many, many times, but as a dude, this sounds like throwing a pity party, guys, but at the end of the day, it's reality, okay? Nobody's coming to save you, and nobody cares, okay? I mean, that's just the moral of the story. That's at the end of the day. Women can sit there, and they can cry and complain about, hell, nothing, and somebody will come along and support them and take them into their life and go from there, and the woman can live comfortably. Even an average woman has a ridiculous amount of options, and she can do this. As a dude, I think it's really important to recognize that this is something that's not available to you, right? This is not, men can't just take the easy way out and be totally fine. You see what I'm saying? No one's coming to rescue a dude. I just did a video covering the Chinese women who are unmarried and older and things like this. They can have options for dudes who own properties to look after them and take care of them. But it's not the same for dudes. It really isn't. You have to build something. You have to make something, or else nobody gives a damn about you. Let's jump a little bit ahead in this video.
Singular politician is just going to come and save the day. Nobody's coming to save no one. America is in debt. America is behind. We're behind on infrastructure. We're behind on technology. We're behind in the public education space. Our citizens are stupid. Our children are dumb.
I will say this, guys, call me a little bit of a conspiracy theorist if you want, but I think public education is just straight up sabotaged. You know what I'm saying? Like, you put a kid through the average public education system these days, guys, and they will be absolutely brainwashed from head to toe, typically speaking. Not always, of course. I think the men are less likely to have this happen to them because, you know, I mean, it still obviously does happen, of course. But these institutions, they don't like masculinity. They don't like traditional values. They don't like traditional morals. They think that morals are something that is subjective, right? Rather than objective, which is crazy. I mean, I think it's all been completely deliberately sabotaged, right? I think a lot of people who, for example, are teachers probably shouldn't be teaching at all. They shouldn't be allowed near kids at all. They shouldn't be teaching the things that they're teaching to begin with. I mean, it's just ridiculous these days, guys.
The men are weak. The men have been feminized. The women are masculine. Nobody's creating babies. This place is more than likely done. This place is more than likely done. And who's going to do anything about it? Who's going to do jack shit about it? Men have either been feminized, castrated, or just see through all the bullshit, and it's just there's no way that they feel like fighting for a system that is either corrupt, right, or a system that is rigged. And trust me, I understand. Salute to you guys. Salute to you guys. I understand. I get it. Because best believe, as soon as I get my ticket, I'm out of here too. I'm out of here. America's turned into one big nightmare. One big ass nightmare. It's unhealthy to be here mentally. Most people are not making it financially. Isn't this the richest country in the world? I'm confused. Is this not the richest country in the world? Is this not the most patriotic country in the world? I'm confused. And there's a barricade at that dead end. And we're just going to go right over that motherfucking cliff. Even if men wanted to stand up and do something, how many men you think are going to do that? How many men you think are going to put their lives on the line for a rigged system? How many men you think are going to, leave their families just to fight a rigged system? How many?
Yeah, and see, this is the problem that these very large institutions will run into, is that when they inevitably need any sort of support from guys, if you've been neglecting men this entire time, treating them like crap, ignoring the court systems that obviously need a reform and things like this, and then you want to turn around and you want to rely on them to save your country, it's not going to work. Dudes are just going to completely and utterly dip out. But guys, we are going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments. What do you guys think about this particular quote-unquote issue? And just a reminder, we still have Fiend Gang applications open in the video description. Not sure how long we will leave them open for, so if you're interested, make sure you check out that link. But otherwise, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.